Hi, Trista McIver here, Program Advisor with AMC NPO Solutions. Today on the Strategic Nonprofit, we will be talking about associations increasing their technological platforms. I've invited Farhad Khan on the podcast today. He is the founder of Grype Digital, a company which assists not-for-profit associations in growing their membership with engaging membership portals. Welcome to the podcast, Farhad.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Great. So could you please let us know what your role is at Grype Digital and a little bit more about Grype as well?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Farhad, and I am originally a software engineer, and I kind of like switched my career from being an engineer to an entrepreneur pretty early. And once I switched to an entrepreneur, I guess I'm enjoying my work and everything way better than before. So I am the CEO and founder of a company called Grype Digital. And what we do is we help professional associations and member-based organizations to grow their association membership with digital marketing and by building membership portals. So when we work with organizations, what we typically do is that we try to help them both with their digital strategy and the implementation of the strategy as well. So we often find that many professional associations and member-based organizations do not actually have a good mix of strategy and execution at the same time. Some would do more strategy, less execution. Some would do a lot of implementation, but not enough strategy. So what we do is when we start to work with a new organization, we start with a very solid digital strategy workshop to kind of set a roadmap for them to grow their organization and to grow their membership. So once the roadmap is in place, then it's much easier for them to actually implement that, and we help them with the implementation of the roadmap as well. So yeah, and we have been working with professional associations for over 10 years now. I've won many awards in my area of work. We have worked with some of the largest member-based organizations here in Canada, and we look forward to working with a lot more in the future.
Great. So you touched on it a little bit earlier, but can you share a piece of advice for an organization on how to improve the leverage of their technology?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess one key challenge that we see professional associations have all the time is that the way they implement their technology is often backwards. So what I mean by backwards is that say we'll talk about the example of a member management system. So if a professional association thinks that they need to implement a new member management system at this point in time, what they would do is they would go out and find out what are the different member management systems or CRM platforms that are available out there in the market that they can use. So they will look at a few, they will probably try some demos and whatnot, and then they will pick one and implement that. So what's wrong with this process? What happens in this case is that implementing a major solution like this takes a lot of time and effort. So maybe you're looking at $10,000 to $50,000 of investment in implementing a new technology solution like that. But we don't always have so professional associations don't always have a clear plan of how to recoup that investment from implementing that technology. So if you're investing, say $40,000 in implementing a new member management system, then ideally you should get $40,000 back in return when the system is launched and more. Otherwise, your investment is not actually effective. So I think this is one challenge that a lot of professional associations and nonprofit organizations go through. So what is wrong with this approach, and what should you do? So we always recommend organizations to actually start by looking inside, start by looking in-house and finding out what are the different challenges their organization is going through right now. If we talk about the example of the member management system, we need to find out what are some of the things that they really need to do to engage better with their members. What do their members like? Are the members really hands-on? Do they want to keep in touch with the association every single week? Is it that much? Or are they more hands-off? Do they prefer to have one communication or maybe one event every couple of months? So depending on what things your association needs to do to provide a better service, to actually help your members better, we need to create a roadmap. So we have to start by creating a roadmap, understand what is wrong and what you need to do. So if you have a clear roadmap of what solutions you actually have to put in place, then if you know what tools you will need, and if you go out and find out what member management systems and what CRM systems can actually help you implement that roadmap, then you'll find that your investment in the technology will be much more effective, and you'll find that your return on investment will actually go up as well. So we find a lot of organizations implement the technology backwards. So as opposed to looking inside first, they start by looking at a solution, a CRM or member management system, and they take it back to their organization and see what problems will the solution fit. So this is so backwards. So I think like this is one key advice that I give all of my like client organizations, and many of them actually has benefited from this. And just by doing this one simple step, we uncover, by doing a strategy session at the very beginning, like we uncover so many little things that the organization never thought of before. So I think like this is the one key advice that I would have for professional associations, Trista.
So thank you. So when you're talking about creating a roadmap, so what I've talked with some other companies that do that have the CRMs and all the different types of member management software or board management software, that type of thing. And that's something that you're touching on too, which is very interesting, is to actually look at the organization from within first, almost do like a poll or a survey within sort of the organization and staff itself first, because there's a lot of software out there that it's too much for what the organization needs, and I think, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Okay, cool. No, that's great. Thank you. So say, I guess another piece of advice, what would you give advice around utilizing the technology within the organization?
Yeah, for sure. And something that we find with professional associations a lot is that like there's a lot of like resistance to change often. So maybe yeah. So and we see this all the time, right? Like maybe the team members are not that digitally savvy, or maybe like they're very used to doing things in a certain way and they don't want to change that. They're so comfortable doing that, right? So we find that there's a lot of resistance to change often, and there's also a fear of technology that comes with it as well, right? So we are afraid of things that we don't know of, right? And fear of technology is something that is like very, very common across all organizations, and not just professional associations. We work with a lot of like large government organizations as well. In particular, in government, it's even worse. So what I say. What I say to all my client organizations is that technology is happening no matter what, right? Technology is happening no matter what, and we don't really have a choice right now. We don't have a choice. We have to embrace it. Like if we don't embrace it, the rest of the world is just like moving ahead. They're just moving forward. So you can either embrace it and grow with the rest of the world, or you can fall behind. You can get buried by the wave. You either ride the technology wave or you get buried by it. So which one would you prefer? So in order to like get over the fear of technology, I guess like the first thing that people need to do is start by using smaller tools as opposed to like adopting like large technology solutions like at once. Like start by using small tools that you are more comfortable with. Get yourself like used to with those. And the other thing is that technology is becoming like math. Like any person today has some basic knowledge of calculus, algebra, arithmetic, and geometry. And if you have gone to any level of school, if you have like maybe finished even like seventh grade, at school, you will have a basic idea of math. Technology and computer programming is becoming like that over time. So in a couple of years, every single person who's going through school or like middle school or high school, they will be expected to know quite a bit more about technology. They'll be expected to actually know coding, like computer programming by itself. So coding in a couple of years will become like math is today. So you can either ride the technology wave or you can get buried by it. Now, also at the same time, you have to keep in mind that technology in itself is never a solution. Technology is really a catalyst to solve problems. What I mean by that is that we often think that if we just like took this fancy CRM system, if we just like implemented that, or if we built this like fancy website, it will solve all of our problems. But in reality, it's almost never the case. So technology itself does not solve your problems. But what you can instead do is that if you know that on your website, a certain like process or a certain technique is working really well, why not double down on that? So if your members are really engaging with a certain type of like service that you're delivering, why not implement technology there? Use technology to make that service 10 times better, right? So use technology as a catalyst to double down on your strengths and deliver a much better service to your members. So as opposed to like thinking of technology as a solution for everything, like what we should do is find out the key things that you need to do in your organization to help your organization grow, and then use the right technology, use the right tools to amplify your strengths 10 times. So I think the right use of technology really is in that, like using it strategically and not just using it randomly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. Yeah, no, that's, you mentioned coding, and I think that is the way of the future. I mean, my friend has a son, he's 8, I think, and she's putting him in some coding courses, and it's just, as you said, like the way of the future, we're going to need to know. And those young kids are going to be ripping around past us pretty soon. So how could associations, like what would you suggest for associations to increase their membership through marketing?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess if you are looking to invest in marketing or digital marketing for your professional association, I always tell everyone that like the first place you should look at is to your existing members, because it's 10 times more difficult to sell to a new client as opposed to selling to an existing client. So if you are not doing enough, and most associations, a lot of associations don't do enough in marketing to their existing members. So the one thing that I tell everyone is that like start by marketing your benefits to your existing members first. And when you are marketing your benefits to your existing members, like you shouldn't just sell the features of your association. Don't just like tell them that, hey, we have this training, we have that, that you can use. Or don't just say that. Tell them how the benefits of your association can improve the person's life, how your trainings can actually improve the person's career overall, right? So we need to share the value that the member will actually get in their own lives or in their own careers. You start by that and then say, by the way, we have, so you can use our benefits to improve your life. And by the way, this is our membership fee. So if you start by doing that, you'll find that like your members are much more receptive to your marketing, because you're speaking about their lives first, and your members want to be heard, right? So as opposed to like selling your features, talk more about your members. How can they improve their lives? How can they improve their careers? Now, the other thing about marketing is that, so first of all, you start by marketing to your existing members, and after that you go outside. You do marketing for your prospective members, and then like tell them like how great your association is. Now, one thing that we find a lot of organizations do is that like they do not have like a coherent strategy in their marketing. So they will try a bit of this, a bit of that, and many of them are probably like doing a lot of things all at once. But really in marketing, you don't have to do a lot of things, a lot of different things. But instead, what you have to do is to do a few things really, really well, right? So in marketing, you kind of have to like take an iterative approach. So you have to start by designing small experiments to see, hey, like do email campaigns work well for us? So should we send email campaigns, or do social media work actually better? So we have to design small experiments, and every single time when you design experiments, don't do too many things at once. So maybe take 3 marketing activities at a time. So maybe take Facebook, take email, and then take Twitter, right? So you're focusing on 3 at a time, and then see which one is performing the best, right? And then the channels and the activities that are performing the best, you double down on those, and then you stop doing the activities that are not working out that well for you. And the channels that are not working out, in the next iteration, you kind of maybe you discard almost all of it, or you lower your investment in that area, and then you find a new activity or a new channel that you think will actually give you better returns. So over time, you have to take an iterative approach to understand which areas, like which channels and activities are actually working better. And over the long term, what you have to do is you have to stick to those few channels and those few campaigns that are really working for you. So if you find a few that are really working, the moment you have realized that they're working well, don't look for another shiny new thing. Like whatever is working, double down on those, invest more on those. So this is, I think, like what most organizations should do, as opposed to like doing too many things. You should really like narrow your focus and then focus on the few things that really matter. And you have to have a structured approach to find out which marketing campaigns are actually working better for you. Without a structured approach, it usually does not happen. Like you can send out like 10 email blasts and not track the results, how many opens you get, how many replies you get, right? So it's very easy to actually like do marketing activities and feel good about it, that you think that, oh, you know what, I did the marketing, so I'm done, right? But that's actually not enough. You do the activity, you track the results, right? And then you iterate, you improve that. And if it's not working at all, maybe leave the channel altogether, like try something new. So yeah, so I guess like in order to improve the member engagement, these are some of the things that associations should do for their member marketing.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, because we do that with AMC. We track, we mark, our marketing. But I know that my mom's part of a yacht club, and they don't really have any marketing. I mean, if they were to market themselves on TikTok, that would not be the right place to do their marketing. It's just emails, and even some of them don't have emails. They're all retired people with boats and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's really interesting that you touched on, it's not just about the marketing, it's also about tracking and seeing where your engagement is coming from. Is there engagement via, yeah, exactly, if they're opening the emails even. There is software to track that. So that's good. So is there anything that I missed, or anything that you'd like to touch on, that we should share with other associations?
Yeah, for sure. So like most professional associations are nonprofits and they have a limited budget. So when you're actually like investing a limited amount of money, like where should you focus your investment, right? So we can do a lot of things. So what I find is that like for marketing, what you should be doing is you take an outside in approach, right? And it this kind of like seems backwards, right? But what it really means is that when you're investing in your like technology, or you're investing in your marketing, start by finding out what are some of the things that you can do to improve your like service delivery to your members, right? So start with your members. What are some of the key things you have to do to significantly improve their like the service delivery to your members, to improve the member experience? So you start by doing that, right? So, and then if you identified like 3 or 4 different things that you have to do, then come back. What investment do you have to make within your organization to make those happen? So in general, in an organization, I guess you typically have like marketing, you have operations, and then you have finance. So there are different like departments where you can make the investment for your digital technology. So if you take an outside in approach, you'll see that when you have a single focus, like your primary focus is to improve the services that you're delivering to your members, you'll find that you have to make small investments maybe in marketing, you have to make small investments in operation, you have to do a bit of improvement in your finance. When you have a single focus, you'll find that your investment will actually be spread around a number of different areas. But you're investing your marketing dollars or technology dollars at the right place because you have a single goal that you're trying to achieve. That is to improve your member experience, right? Or to maybe like reach to like larger group of like prospective members in order to like grow your membership. So I always like tell people that take an outside in approach and start by defining a key goal, a key metric, a key performance indicator, a KPI that will really move the needle for your organization. So when you start there and then you come back and find out, by the way, you know what, we can market a lot to prospective members, but when all these members like come and start to sign up, we don't really have the like internal operations to actually sustain that, right? So our system will crumble. So maybe we need to make some investment in our member management system as well. Maybe the system that process that we have right now is not working that well. So you know what? So while we're doing our marketing activities, let's like do some investment in our member management system. And by the way, our renewal process sucks. People don't renew. So then you go back to your financial side, right? Your financial tools. So why are people not renewing? Where are people dropping off, right? So maybe make renewals automatic so that people don't actually have to renew. By default, they will renew, right? And then only when they want to cancel the membership, they call you and then they have to cancel. So things like that. So when you have a single focus and then you have a single goal and you take that goal back to your organization and see what are the different investments you have to make in the different areas, you'll find that the investment that you make will be significantly more effective. And I guess like with that, I will touch on one last thing. So when we are looking at investing in marketing activities in general, a lot of people think activities. So they think that, hey, you know what, maybe Facebook will work better for me, maybe Instagram will work better for us, or you know what, our members are not on any social media, so maybe email will work better, right? So we think of marketing as activities, but really what makes marketing campaigns successful is the design of a whole campaign. It's not just one activity, right? So what we should be doing in designing our marketing is to design our marketing campaigns around key activities. So key activities or key events. So for example, like if your professional association is doing a webinar, right? So there's a webinar coming up with a great speaker, then that webinar will become your key event, and then you design your marketing campaign around that key event. You take that webinar and then you promote the hell out of it, right? So you promote the hell out of it. And when you're promoting that webinar, you can use Facebook, you can use LinkedIn, you can use Twitter, you can use email blasts, right? You can actually use paid ads. But what you're doing is that you start with an event and you design a campaign around that one event, because your prospective members can come from a variety of different sources. You don't always know. And when you're promoting your events and promoting your services to a diverse group of members, members of different ages, they will usually come from different sources, different social media channels. Younger audience, they're probably more active on Instagram. People my age are probably more active on Facebook, right? And maybe another generation is not active on social media at all. They only read emails, right? So it's not about one activity. It's about designing campaigns around your events and making sure that those campaigns are well executed. So if you do that, then you'll find that your marketing campaigns will be significantly more effective.
Yeah, I guess I had a thought that it might be an idea also for an association to ask their members, how would you like to receive information? Would you prefer email? Would you prefer, through Facebook? Would you prefer through Instagram? Or just even ask them, or just do a survey with them about what do you use the most? And then that way, the target, because I know I was same yacht club my mom is part of. Some members still want, the AGM notice mailed to them through the post.
Postal mail, yeah. Wow.
Postal mail, yeah,
wow.
Exactly. And one of the ladies was like, wow, this is just, it's interesting that, there some people, they don't have emails. They just do not have emails. They're in their 80s. They're just, they don't. And it's really, I think that especially what you touched on today, is it's really important to know your membership.
Yeah, for sure.
To know who your demographic, age demographic, and then their technology knowledge too. But as you said, we are moving to an age where my kid's going to be coding and I'm still, on the iPad. He's teaching me, right? So thanks for joining us today, Farhad. So how can our listeners learn more?
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to find out more about myself or about the work that we do or our company, you can go to our website. It is grype.ca. That is GRYPE.ca. It's the word Grype with Y as opposed to using I. And if you go to our website, you'll actually find we have a number of free guides there that you can download for free. So feel free to use them. They're very helpful for professional associations. And particularly, we have a guide for improving your member retention at the professional association. So you can download that guide for sure. And I am pretty active on social media, and I have a podcast as well. So I host a podcast for professional associations. So if you like what you hear over here, you can actually like come listen to our podcast. And there's a lot more of this over there in that podcast as well. And feel free to reach out to me. Like I love like hanging out with like people. Like it's just like shoot me an email or a message on social media, and we can actually connect that way.
Thanks so much.
I don't know why my face shines too much. I think I should have like put on some makeup. Are we done?
Say bye.
Bye, everyone.
We're done. Bye. I don't think I asked this question. In what areas should they focus their investments in? Or did I? God, I don't remember. Okay, anyway.